afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM in Accra at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including ATL FM, Cape Coast, Radio Max Takrade, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, as the governing MPP prepares to launch its manifesto in the Central Regional Capital tomorrow, we'll tell you what to expect in a document meant to win the hearts and minds of Ghanaians.
It would be something that meets the needs of the time, and especially to prepare our workforce to be able to respond to the Continental Free Trade area.
We'll also hear from President Akufo-Addo as he defends his government's inability to operationalize Commander Sugar Factory since assumption of office.
From touching it?
No, it wasn't. We were not scared from touching it.
Okay.
We went into it, but we needed to make sure that the planning of the factory, the whole process.
Details in a moment. And Papano lands Ekuyadonko won to me radio in a 1 million Ghana cedi defamatory suit.
Papano, what about the Papano?
And in sports,
members of the Ghana Football Association will be ready for the September 1 Congress and will not be distracted by the Court of Arbitration for Sport verdict on Wilfred Palmer versus the GFA. That's according to Techiman Wonder CEO Albert Comey.
also dawn of hope for pupils as MTN Foundation hands over a 6-unit classroom block and teachers bungalow to residents of Nshiaso in the Asante Achim North District of the Ashanti region. We have all the details and in Spotlight.
Yeah, most of people have some mind that if you are not educated, then you are nothing. So those days, they are shooting the English movie. They think they are the superior people.
Today we end our series of focusing on movie stars who are venturing into other sectors far removed from acting. Actor turned presenter Akrobeto is on Spotlight. I am Bernice Abu-Baidoo and this is your election headquarters. Management of the economy and creation of jobs. That and many others are what to expect this weekend when the governing NPP outdoors its manifesto for the 2020 election tomorrow in the Central Region capital, Cape Coast. With 4 months to go for the election, the party is hoping gains it has made within the last 3 years will get them re-elected. So what are we to expect in the manifesto? Well, Executive Director of think tank Dankwa Institute, Richard Anyagba, has revealed the party's manifesto for election 2020 will address issues central to the need of Ghanaians as the party builds on the gains made in the past years.
What should we expect from the manifesto tomorrow?
It's going to be a very nice ceremony, and I think that it would be something that meets the needs of the time and gives Ghanaians a future to hope for.
What are those needs you've identified?
Clearly what has been done. What the needs of the country now is we need to build a strong economy, we need to create opportunities for our youth to get employment, and we need to ensure that we are investing and educating our people to be ready for 21st century challenges, and especially to prepare our workforce to be able to respond to the Continental Free Trade area.
What of COVID-19? Is there something in there?
I think that what you find in relation to COVID-19 is strategic investment in our health sector to ensure future preparedness.
Executive Director of think tank Dankwa Institute, Richard Anyagba, speaking to Daniel Dazi there. As indicated earlier, the MPP's manifesto for election 2020 will be unveiled tomorrow at Cape Coast at a National Council meeting. Your election headquarters, Joy News, will bring you all the details. Richard Kojonyako has been picking up information ahead of the event. He joins us on the line with more. Richard, we understand this is going to be a virtual launch. Give us more details about it.
So that is what the party is making us understand, that this is a virtual launch, and so anyone that is not invited to the event venue should not be there because they have set up some regional platforms and the other things. People can go there for public viewing, but for the event venue at Cape Coast, it's just a group of people or the designated people that are supposed to be there that they are expecting. On the street of Cape Coast, it is busier than any normal day. The colors of the MPP are dominant, trees clothed with flags, And every single space has been occupied by the NPP here. So we are waiting for the big day tomorrow.
Definitely, and your election headquarters will be there to also bring you up to speed on all that's happening. But Richard, the president is also in your region. He's been speaking about several issues on ATL FM this morning. Give us the highlights.
Well, so the president has been speaking on a wide range of issues ranging from corruption to the fisheries sector and the general performance of his government. On corruption, he pat himself on the back that the manifesto promise of setting up anti-corruption institutions such as the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the fact that the office is independent. He cannot interfere with the work of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, no matter the concerns people have about the setting up of the office. He also says that the Public Procurement Authority that had the suspended CEO is also doing very well, and then they are even getting some more money that hitherto they were not having. On the issue of the abandonment of the Commander Sugar Factory, the president had this to say.
Way that the raw material supply could be then validated and assured. All that has been done.
But sir, if it was just a problem of raw materials, then something has been done. The loan had been procured. The establishment had been done. So was it just a problem of raw material that possibly scared your administration from touching it?
No, it wasn't. We were not scared from touching it.
Okay.
We went into it. But we needed to make sure that the planning of the factory...
And when you say planning, what variables are we looking at?
I'm talking about the whole process, beginning from the raw material input to the process itself, being done in a manner which would guarantee the viability of the factory. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that there was a need for us to look at the project de novo, as it were, and make sure that the processes were there that would enable.
Richard, we understand President Akufo-Addo has also been responding to calls by Cape Coast residents for an airport.
Well, he said that some needs assessment ought to be done because he believes that there is an airport in in Takoradi, there is an airport in Accra, and so they are just few minutes drive away from Cape Coast, and so they will subject all of these things to some critical decisions before they can arrive at any decision like that.
Well, the studies are...
No, go ahead. You don't see the need of an airport.
I don't say the need. These things... They're not the response of the government should not just be people say we need an airport. The response of the government should be the matter has been thoroughly examined and the need has been established. And that is the process that the Ministry of Aviation is going through. It's doing the same with Koforidua from the region from which I come, which is also another regional location which is very near Accra. Another an hour and a half, to be able to decide for ourselves whether, in fact, the need for the airport can be justified. When you have Accra, you have Kumasi, you have Tamale, you have Takoradi, whether on the coast, with Accra's presence, there's a need for an additional airport.
President Akufo-Addo, they're speaking to Mary Amabawa earlier on ATL FM. So, Richard, just bring us up to speed on what the president is expected to do as part of his tour today.
So, two key things. The president is going to commission the Ekumfi Fruit and Juices Factory at Ekumfi, and then he will proceed to Gomuabewaze to commission the sweet potato factory at Gomuabewaze, and the president will return. And then later in the evening, they will present the manifesto to the National Council, and then the following day, it will be made public to the general public.
Thank you very much. Richard Kojinyako is our man in the Central Region. Now, as you know, at your election headquarters, we'll be bringing you live coverage of that manifesto launch. Head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, joins us with more. Evans, what should we expect?
Well, we should expect an in-depth, all-round coverage. I call this the 360 coverage, and this is a manifesto of an incumbent. And so what we're going to do, we're going to have a three-part series. First of all, we're choosing to do this in Cape Coast for a reason, Central Region. We're going to analyze why Central Region is so important to this particular government. That is the first part. Second part, our colleagues and friends from Imani will join us at the detailed analysis of the 2016 manifesto and what they've managed to achieve over the last 4 years. And then obviously we'll cover the event itself, and MFR Power and the team is on the ground to bring us that. There's a last part that I would like to keep under my sleeves. You have to just tune in tomorrow from 12. And a surprise element. Tune in at 12 tomorrow and follow us and discover what we will do after the manifesto is launched. Fascinating stuff.
Definitely. Thank you. Evans is head of our political desk. Now, this will be live on all our platforms, on Joy News, on TV, on Joy 99.7 FM, and on My Joy Online. Still on election-related matters, presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Mahama, says the sudden interest of President Akufo-Addo to project infrastructure as part of his government's achievement is both surprising and deceptive. Addressing chiefs and elders of Chito, Mr. Mahama said the government failed the infrastructure test right from the beginning when it cancelled road contracts and abandoned projects it inherited from the NDC.
This election is about our future. It is about the future of our children and our children's children. When it gets to elections, suddenly people start going around cutting sword, bring bulldozers, start behaving as if they are going to construct the road. When I was coming along the whole road, we designed a double carriageway to Ho, and we started working on it before we left office. After we left office, the work came to a standstill. For 4 years now, today all of a sudden I've seen a bulldozer widening the road as if the dual carriageway is about to start. I know that it is NDC that will come and complete that project.
The former president commended the people of the Volta region for defying what he calls government-sponsored harassment and intimidation during the just-ended voter registration exercise. He's also urged them to show the same level of interest when the Electoral Commission begins exhibition of the voter register.
There's going to be the exhibition of the register, and I want to appeal to all of you. The exhibition is as important as the registration itself. Because in compiling the register, there could be a mistake and your name might be omitted. If you exhibit the register and you don't go and check that your name is there, if by accident your name is omitted and on election day you go, even with your card, if your name is not in the register, they will not allow you to vote. And so when EC advertises the date of the exhibition, I appeal to all of you, leave whatever you are doing and just take a minute to go and look and make sure that your name and your image, your photo are in the register so that on 7th December you can come and cast your vote.
Presidential candidate of the NDC there, John Mahama. Well, he's still in the Volta region. Correspondent Ivy Setoji joins us with more. Hello, Ivy. Where's the president now and what is he doing?
So currently, Mr. Mahama is in Bando. That's his last stop in the Volta region, and so he's been talking about jobs in this government. He said because jobs are not there, a lot of youth are not able to get jobs under the NPP. So if he comes to power, he's going to make sure that jobs are created, and he's going to legalize the Okada business and make sure that they do it the right way, so that youth who really in this of riding Okada for business can go ahead. So he's been mainly talking about job creation and the fact that he's going to legalize the Okada business, because most of the places he's been to, a lot of young men are using the Okada for business.
Thank you very much. Ivy Setoji is our correspondent in the Volta region. Now, politician Ekia Donko and Wuntumi Radio, owned by Ashanti Regional MPP Chairman Bernard Entry-Boesianko, also called Chairman Wuntumi, have been dragged to court for describing former President Mahama as Papano. An internet feud between actress Tracy Boache and musician Miss Bell over a certain man referred to in their videos as Papano has left many wondering who that person is. And this has resulted in a lot of speculation, with many claiming knowledge of the person's identity. Now, the plaintiff, only identified as Mary Ewusi, is demanding 1 million CD damages, a retraction and apology, and restraining order to prevent them from making such utterances again. Bernice Abu-Baidoo has the rest of the story read to you.
Papano, Papano,
my party NDC, mean black meaning beer. I don't have anything to do with former President Mahama. I beg you, I respect the man as my father.
Actress Tracy Boache
disputing claims in one of her numerous viral videos in her feud with musician Miss Bell that former President John Mahama is the father of her child and her benefactor. The phrase Papano has become popular with some, including MPP chairman of the Ashanti region Bernard Inchibuesiako, known as Chairman Wuntumi, claiming the former president is the man being referred to as Papano.
That's our former president, John Dramani Mahama, recently. We have saw a guest, Tracy Wachi and Miss Bell, showing off their houses. Where did they get the money to buy that house? And they keep on saying, Papano, Papano, my old man. Now this is what is in town now.
Well, he's not the only one. In a video that has gone viral, controversial Ghanaian politician Donko boldly stated in an interview on Wuntumi Radio that Mr. Mahama is the Papano as the center of Tracy and Miss Bell's fight.
Papano, what about the Papano?
Donko, alongside Oheniba Nane Siedu, a journalist with Wuntumi Radio and Wuntumi Communications, have been sued by one Mary Ewusi for the comments Donko made on Wuntumi Radio. Mary Ewusi is seeking a total of 1 million Ghana cedis at an Accra High Court in damages after the three defendants acted in ways she thinks injured the reputation of the NDC flag bearer. She's also praying the Accra High Court for a retraction and apology, as well as a restraining order on the three defendants from making any defamatory statement about Mr. Mahama in the future. In the suit, she claims Donko made unfounded statements about John Mahama, which has damaged his character. Wuntumi Radio and Oheniba Nane Siedu, the reporter who conducted the interview, are also included in the suit. The plaintiff says they are a party to the offense as they allowed their platform to be used by Donko to make the damning allegations. It is not clear if the plaintiff has any ties to the former president, who is yet to comment on the matter.
Papano, unimno, Papano, Yakishano, Papano, Lechadie, Papano, Oyo, baby.
As Henry Kwesi Bedou's report read to you. Away from election-related matters, the custodian of Osustu lands, Ni Okwe Kina Douna the Fifth, says government is refusing to pay compensation on the land being used to construct the National Cathedral. According to him, government overlooked the fact that the land belonged to the Osustu, and as such, it was only fair that it paid compensation. However, his attempts to get government to reason with them has proven futile. Ni Douna bared his frustration to First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo, who had gone there to present food items for the upcoming Homowo Festival. Here are excerpts of the conversation.
In the first place, nobody informed us about plans to construct the cathedral on the land. Neither have we received compensation. Yet a wall has already been erected. We are not selling the land, but at least some rituals must be done, and the need to chart a way forward.
You heard custodian of Osustu lands, Ni Okwe Kinka Duona the Sixth. Now, the Ghana Education Service says it will begin serving nearly 800,000 junior high school and senior high school students one hot meal starting Monday. President Akufo-Addo directed the service to begin the program following suspension of food vending at various schools to minimize the risk of COVID-19 spread. Each student and their teachers will be given an egg as part of a menu made from local foods. Director General of the GS, Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwa, has been speaking to head of Joy News' health desk on the sidelines of a brainstorming session in the Eastern region. Fred Smith joins me with more on this. Hello, Fred. So what's the rollout plan?
Well, you know, the final year students for junior high schools and senior high schools are already in school. And what government wants to do is to have them come to school at 9 a.m. The expectation is that they will eat their breakfast at home before they come. But what the experience has been is that many don't eat by 9 a.m. and so they come to school very hungry and they are unable to concentrate throughout the lesson hours. And so what government plans to do is to give them food each day that they come to school, and this food will be made from local sources, and then they will also be given 1 egg each. And considering that we have 800,000 students and their teachers, this presents a huge boost to the poultry industry.
But will the industry be able to support?
Yes, I've been speaking to the executives of the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana, and they're saying that they will be able to support. What will happen is that they will have to limit the supply to the general public to concentrate on this. We can hear from Mr. Napoleon Ajiman.
Somebody who employs a minimum.
Sorry about that. Unfortunately, we have some haters here. But tell us about the plan to reopen schools, Fred.
Well, the president also ordered that the Education Ministry and the Ghana Education Service come up with a plan to reopen school. What they've done is to put together a committee that is headed by former Education Minister Professor Dominic Fobi. And this committee is looking at what they can do to minimize the spread of COVID-19 should schools be reopened. Should everybody go to school at the same time? Should they run half the shift, or should they run it in such a way that one group will go to school for a certain period of time and the others? All of these options are on the table and are being discussed. They also want to know whether to continue. Recall at the time schools were closed, we were in the second term of the academic year, and so they are considering whether to continue with that or to start a fresh academic year, and that consideration should come to a close by the 21st of September.
Thank you, Fred. Fred Smith is editor here at Joy News. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Just gone by, President Akufo-Addo has been defending his government's inability to operationalize the Commander Sugar Factory since the assumption of office. Still to come, dawn of hope for pupils as MTN Foundation hands over a 6-unit classroom block in Teachers Bungalow to residents of Ishai. So we have details.
The European domestic football action is heading for a big finish as the 2020 UEFA Champions League takes center stage. It's all on the line as Man City, PSG, Barcelona, Juventus, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid face off in an action-packed mini-tournament. Catch it live on SuperSport from the 7th of August. Get DSTV and find out who will be crowned champions of Europe.
Oh my goodness, you cannot write the script for this. This is unbelievable stuff.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying. It's now time for sports. Hans, what's happening in the world of sports?
And members of the GFA will be ready, I beg your pardon, for Congress and will not be distracted by the Court of Arbitration for Sports verdict on Wilfred Osei-Kweku-Palmer versus the GFA. That's according to CEO of Techiman 11 Wonders Football Club, Albert Comey. Veteran football administrator Techian had earlier questioned the GFA on the September 1st date for the Congress, which is the same day CAS will be issuing its ruling in the matter between the FA and Wilfred Palmer. But Mr. Comey says members will not be distracted.
If indeed we know that the Congress is the highest decision body of our organization, when we are there to do business, we do serious business. The issue when it comes, I think that it is football that will be the winner. It depends on where you are standing and how you are looking at it. Whatever direction that CAS decision gives us, we will make sure that we channel that and then there will be nothing. And that is why I gave the example that we had earlier on. And it involves Mr. Osei-Palmer and Dreams at the time.
Yeah.
So for me, let's concentrate and keep on doing, because unless they can tell me that they are very sure that come September 1st, the decision is coming. The decision we cannot control as to when it will come. And when it comes, we are football people. We know how to manage tensions. We know how to manage this thing. When we are there for business, we concentrate and do the business.
Albert Comey is the CEO of 11 Wonders Football Club. That's your sports.
Thank you very much, Hans. Now for our Arrive Alive segment today, statistics released by the National Road Safety Commission, NRSC, have revealed there's an increase in accident fatalities more on weekends than during the weekdays. The numbers accumulated between 2016 and 2018 show that close to 16% of serious road crashes and deaths happened between Friday and Sunday and plummeted from Monday. This comes to light after a speeding vehicle killed Rex Anthony Dankwa last weekend while while he was trying to cross the road. Joy Sports' Nathaniel Atto, who happens to be his close friend, recounts the painful experience.
Somebody who employs a minimum of 10 people at a fledgling communication and film and television institution, somebody who's a husband and a father, and somebody who is at the top of the dependency scale, because it's not just his immediate family that depends on him, and we've just lost his life. We're not going to see him again. Now 2 children have to live their lives without a father. And you know, I'm picking information from the Wager SEC station, which is in charge of investigating this case, and I'm told that he was just 0.8 meters from reaching the Central Reserve, which was going to be the safe zone. Now, the area where the incident happened, popular landmark called London Bar, and so a lot of cars park on the shoulders of the road. So what I pick up is that there is a possibility that the driver of the vehicle may have been distracted by the many cars that were parked on the side of the road.
Well, on the back of our Arrive Alive campaign, Director of Planning and Programs at the NRSC, David Osafo Adonting, has been explaining the surge in fatalities on weekends earlier on the Super Morning Show.
A whole year, you could have Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays put together about 15 to 16% of the fatalities happening within these periods in the week. These are periods that people tend to drink and drive because they go for holidaying, they go for funerals and so on. And you know what happens at funerals. And so there's a lot of drink driving issues. And when drivers also get to know that enforcement is not at the limit that we expect during weekends, then they do all sort of things.
David Osafo Adonting is Director of Planning and Programs at the Road Safety Commission. Now, it was all joy as the multimedia group joined MTN Foundation in handing over a 6-unit classroom block and teachers bungalow to residents of Nshaiso in the Asante Achim North District of the Ashanti region. The project, executed at a cost of 500,000 cedis, followed a joint use agenda highlighting the deplorable and life-threatening nature of classrooms in the community. Ohiming Teria has more.
The provision of this modern edifice will not only make teaching and learning conducive, but also ease the burden on students like Natasha Aswala, who had to walk over 4 hours daily to access JHS education in Ananikrum.
We were compelled to walk several kilometers to Ananikrum to attend JHS. It was always dangerous to ply that route due to the presence of the nomadic herdsmen.
Class hours will no longer be determined by the harsh weather condition.
It was very, very difficult. We used to move to search for seats because there's no walls in the classrooms. At times of rain, we do close down the school.
It was all joy when the students were allowed into their new learning environment.
School then we need to in so I just say coffee and I want him one more to me about school then we did in so to say a bit more.
Ohiming Teria with that report. Thank you so much, MTN Ghana Foundation. It's now time for entertainment. Becky, who knows tomorrow?
Yes,
who are we?
He is on spotlight today. Akwesi Boydi, known as Akrobeto, began his acting career in the early 90s. Even though he could not pass his middle school examination, his love for comedy and acting made him popular and loved by a lot in his community.
I give all the credit to my father. I can say my father.
Okay.
He called Apostle Kojosaf. He's the one come over to my village. Achim Oda, Ayiribi, some village there called Ayiribi. He came there to pick me to Accra.
Okay. At age 18, he left his hometown to Accra with Apostle Kojo Safo of Christo Asafo Band when the band visited Achim Ayiribi to perform their usual concert party in the town.
I know who I am, Akrabato. I know who I am. Alabo, Milam Jacob, what's this?
He was a founding member of the Christo Asafo drama group, along with Ejako, Messie Siedu, and Nkomode. The group performed in the Keystone concert party at the National Theatre. Akrobeto entered the movie industry around 2009 and has remained relevant, especially in the Kumar movie industry till date.
I'm not ashamed myself that I can't speak English or blah blah. I don't go to school.
Akwesi Buedi, popularly known as Acrobeto, and tomorrow. And in that report, you can watch the TV version in about 15 minutes on Joy News TV. Becky is heading over there shortly. But thank you so much for your company here on the Midday News. Our top story, Executive Director of think tank Dankwa Institute, Richard Ahiagba, says the MPP's party manifesto will address issues central to the needs of Ghanaians, the economy, and creation of jobs. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Please don't go away. We'll be back shortly with Living Word.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy. Or go out to find